This is one of my copters, being broken from my last race in the Netherlands, the Dutch National Championship, as you saw in my last video. And today we're gonna have a bit of a different video. We're gonna repair all my copters that got broken during this particular race. And I like to be organized. All my copters have a number on it and I write down everything that I need to take care of after the race. So I know exactly what to focus on and what parts I need to order. So the list of things that got broken during this race is not too big, but let's just tackle it. Also, we need to install and activate low band frequencies on my HDzero VTX for my next race with over 100 pilots. I'm gonna attend this in 2 weeks. It is definitely the biggest event I did ever participate, and let's get things started. But before we start, here are some highlights of the crashes from last race. .6, 19.2, 30, 3 FPV, dropped. The first copter we're gonna take care of is this bad boy, and the motor got loose, did spin around here, destroyed the cable, damaged the cable. I have to replace the stator of this motor. And it only happened because I did a mistake, or I did not take care enough of these screws. I did not use Loctite or anything, and yeah, that's how the motor became loose. The screws were not tightened enough, and yeah, that's why it's completely my fault. Let's just replace the motor, then we are done with this copter actually. This is the only thing that happened with this copter. At the end of the day I only used 2 copters, but you may also notice that there is no HDzero cam mounted on this copter, because I attended a race with 4 copters and only having 3 cameras. One was not working, I didn't replace this, I had it not here, but now I did order it and I have 4 cameras now. I also gonna replace the camera here. Let's start by removing the top plate. We're just gonna remove everything and then we're gonna desolder the motor and bring up the new one. One cable is completely out of the stator here. And I know some of you may be capable of repairing this by resoldering it to the tiny copper wires. But actually I'm not. I'm just gonna replace the stator. Because at the end of the day, if the motors, if I use them, you see here, the rotor, this one, the bell, is definitely more, or I have to replace more bells than stator, so the stator is what I have in my replacement box in my toolbox anyways. And please, if you solder, always wear a mask. It is really one of the most dangerous things we can do while flying, while repairing FPV copters. The only thing that is more dangerous is a copter flying into you, but this can really harm you in the long term. So I'm gonna heat up 390 degrees Celsius. Don't know what this is in Fahrenheit. The window is open. I have the mask on. I hope you can hear me. Let's desolder the motor. Bring only the iron for a short period and remove it. This is the motor now. Because of the twisted wires, it was quite rough for the cables to resist, but at least I did not break. I just added some solder on there, so there's also some more flux in it, and this really enhances the chances of a good solder connection. And as you can see here, the screw is barely coming out of the frame here. So this is a 6mm arm and I have a 10mm screw. So basically how I start with mounting the motors or replacing it, I did mount here the motor on the arm. Then I'm gonna fix the wires here to determine the length of the cables I need. Then I'm gonna solder it and then I'm done actually. So I want to place it like this. The second one will go above the first cable like this, and the third cable will go like this. So this is my cable length. Now I'm gonna remove the plastic from the wires so I can make some solder on it and just connect it. And for the installment, I start with the closest one, middle one, and the one in the middle. This is the sequence of soldering the cables, the wires. So I did mount the bell, now the RX antenna again, and the motor replacement is done. The last thing we're gonna do with this copter is install the HDzero cam. Now all the repairs are done, but we have to unlock low band. So for the VTX, you all know race band, R1, R2, the video channels. And there is also F band, which is commonly used in FPV racing to have a bigger spread between those different channels flying. And with 101 pilots, the race I'm attending, it is required to have low band as well. Low band. This increases the amount of pilots flying in one heat, so at the same time, to 8. So we will have 8 pilots flying at the same time. But if you look at this connector here, I need to update the HDzero VTX. If you look at this, it looks quite broken, but the pins are okay, I guess. I have to see if this is still working, if I can attach it and update the firmware to unlock the low band. Okay, I managed to get the connector in. Doesn't look good, but it should have connection. Let's connect it to the computer to see if it works. This is the connection device. There I plug in the USB-C cable from the computer and I have the red light here. This gives me hope that it works, but let's see. Okay, so this is plugged in and it does work. I see the LED and now I go to the software HDzero Programmer. I did download the Unlock Low Band special firmware or whatever it's called. I click on Load Local Firmware. I choose from the Unlock Low Band file from the folder. I choose it and now I update. Firmware updated. This is it actually. Now I do unplug. Now testing the VTX. If I plug in now, my boxer is connected, so it's on. And you see, red light. It is not working. With updating only the firmware, the unlock firmware, the VTX is not working anymore. It needs to do a power cycle. Now I click on load online firmware with the Race V3. I take the newest version, the latest, Flash VTX, downloading firmware, zack, okay, and firmware updated. Now it should work actually. And now we have the blue LED. This means it is working. And let's see if we really got now low band available. I'm going into the menu. And what I do see here, channel R1, R2. Yes, so all the R bands are there, E, F and L. L band was not there, but now it is there. And now I have the full potential of all the channels I need. Save and exit, and we are good to go. Yay! And the last thing we're gonna change with this copter is this arc. This arc. Look at this. It is actually burnt from a burnt copter. I just took it when I was in a rush, but now I did print a new one. Copter number 3. Done. The next copter is my copter number 4 and the repair copter number 2 we do today. So what we have to do here, the arms, we need to check the arms if they are a bit wobbly, I guess, because I saw in the DVR that it's a bit shaky. And look at the HDzero plug. What do you think? Is this kind of capable of repairing? I mean, I need the plug to unlock the low band frequencies. So basically my suggestion would be that I install a new VTX, and this is still a spare VTX. I mean, I can use it for anything except this race. Of course you can desolder the plug, but I'm not capable of doing. this VTX will still work, so basically I can still use it, but right now I have to replace it. So let's replace it, check the arms, and then we are done. And we need to test the arms, if the arms are still good enough or if they are too wobbly. Sometimes the arms are delaminated, the carbon layers, and you don't see it directly. It looks fine, but once you twitch the arm, once you bring in some torque into the arm, then you see like what is really going on. So let's take a look. Front right, really wobbly. Yeah, you can't see it good, but yeah, I can bend it like 20-25 degrees. The other side a bit better. And now the rear side. Oh yes. Rear right is fine, and oh my gosh, this is the worst. Rear left. Okay, so I need to change. Front right and rear left. And of course, here where my LED is, I have to replace the arm, but doesn't matter. It's just one zip tie. And this is Keepy LED V1 version. And this is powered by Lipo 6S power, not from the battery pad, LED pad on the flight controller. So it's easy to install, but yeah, of course, not addressable. So this is the arm we need to change, and front right. Let's unscrew it. We also gonna replace this arc. And we always check if the screws are bent. Ta-da! This is the first arm. Now the copter should be less twitchy. This was an arm swap on the Typhoon frame. This is the frame I'm flying. Southeast V7 Typhoon. This is open source frame. We did let it cut in China. And actually it's quite nice. There are better frames, of course, but it also really depends on what you're interested in, what is for you important. And basically what I don't like is I have here some tiny holes to tighten the stack screws, but I'm unable to change the stack screws. I cannot take them out. If I need to replace them, I have to take out the whole frame, take it apart. This is a bit dumb. This is what you don't want to see when taking the arm apart. But of course, going from 3mm to 6mm in thickness, that's really the point where it starts to delaminate. But I am also curious, how fast is changing an arm on your copter? Tell me in the comments if this is kind of an average time, a fast time, or if this is really taking too long for changing one arm at a copter. Because if you're outside racing, you don't have time. You just want to, zack, implement a new arm and keep sending. But yeah, most of the time I'm just too lazy. I just put them in my box and wait until I'm at home. And yeah, that's why it's always preferable to have multiple copters. I mean, look at the connector. I tried to bend all the pins in the right direction. The software is telling me no connection possible, because also one pin is completely missing, and yeah, that's why I have to replace it. I cut off the plug, take off the installation of the cables, and then solder it back to the original pins where the old VTX was installed, and that's it. Once the cables are soldered, we twist them a little bit. For the electromagnetic field, it brings some advantages. Everything is wired back in. Now we place the VTX there with the nuts, antenna back in. Okay, now everything is installed, and let's test the HDzero if this is working now. Turn on the radio and then we can send it. Okay, let's try it. Isn't this the best sound ever? There it is. So I'm now on R2, R1 and L821. There it is. Awesome. Everything is working. Now we got four copters equipped with low band. All the VTXs are working, so I'm prepared for the race. And two copters are repaired.
After being done with all the repairs, now I just need to test the copters. And I did test them and they fly well actually, and I'm quite happy with the result. I mean, there are days and there are FPV races where I crash a lot more and where I demolish my copters so much, and basically the list of things we did repair was really small compared to other races, other training days. But if you're interested in FPV racing, FPV stuff, in methods, in strategies, and just want to get better as a FPV pilot, subscribe to my channel so you're always informed if I drop a new video. And now I'm out. Thanks for watching. Meso, mic drop.